Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my live review on Handmaid's Tale, The Handmaid's Tale, Season 2, Episode 5 Seeds. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for being here. And to all of my nieces and nephews who have been with me here for the long haul, thank you so much. I am going to go ahead on and get straight into this live review so I don't belabor the time. Um, this episode was absolutely off the hizzle for sizzle, my nizzle. And hi, everybody. And I was just like floored. Every week I am seeing something new about this particular um, program, and this particular episode did not leave me disappointed, and I'm hoping that it did not leave you disappointed either. We start off the episode, with June laying in, the bed and basically, pondering over um, what has happened to her and what she is to blame of. Of course, we saw last week where June snapped when Aunt Lydia was basically, telling her that Offred had an opportunity to live while June needed to die. And when she thought back on the things that she had done to Luke's wife, ex-wife, she was living with regret. And I think that something in her just snapped and made her kind of feel like she needed to take responsibility for, what was going on, or thinking that, if she did right, she would get redemption, or she could redeem herself from what she had done in her previous free life. And so now we see her, basically in the bed, and she's talking about, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. Let me take my glasses off. So she's sitting there and she's, talking about it's my fault, it's my fault. And, basically saying, we're going to have good weather and all of that kind of stuff. And so when we see her doing that, afterwards we see Aunt Lydia, you know, weighing her, and we see Serena standing in the room. And basically, she's, monitoring her. Aunt Lydia has been living at the house. She's done a lot of groundwork to kind of break Offred down. And it has worked. She is now a zombie. I think she has lost her damn mind, and she's just absolutely not herself. And so we see her weighing her, and then she weighs the size of the fetus, and she asks Offred different questions, and Serena is answering the questions for her. And Aunt Lydia is quite irritated by it, and you can see that Serena is irritated by her. Offred's not talking. She said she has yes and no answers, and that is it. Yes, this, and yes, that, and knick-knack and patty, I give a dog a bone. So, Serena, knows that she's overstepped her bounds with Aunt Lydia, and she's basically like, okay, do you want some tea? And, Miss Lydia is like, fine. She tells Offred, you're smelling musty. I guess down there in the little JJ area. And she says, I need you to bathe twice a day. And so, Offred's like, okay, yes, yes, Aunt Lydia. Yes, Miss Waterford, yes. She is completely gone. The rebellious June that we've known, she is long gone. Like, she is completely and totally just zoned the hell out. And so, we see Aunt Lydia go downstairs with with Serena, and of course, she had gotten on her in season episode 4 about the smoking. And Serena, I guess is giving off like withdrawal type of things. She's trying to quit. Her ass ain't gonna stop smoking because that's all she got. She's created this world in which she doesn't want to live in her own daggone self. So, she's sitting down there and we see her pouring the tea with the filter in it and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, is Serena thinking about poisoning Aunt Lydia? And so, basically Aunt Lydia is doing, talking to her about, smoking. And she said, I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. I gave it up. And, Serena, makes a side comment. And so basically Aunt Lydia is like, look, okay, it takes more to having a baby and raising a baby than her just being pregnant and you providing shelter. You need to give her some air. You need to make her living quarters comfortable. And of course, basically, she's got to bathe twice a day. So it's just like, Serena is pushing back, and basically Aunt Lydia was like, look, did I overstay my damn welcome up in here? There's some things that are going on with Serena that Aunt Lydia is picking up, but she's not going to back down. She's like, okay, did I overstay my welcome up in this mother? And so, basically she gets her suitcase and she leaves on out the house. She tell her, look, you know what? I don't need no tea. I got other people I need to take care of and other things I need to do, and I ain't messing with you like that. So I don't need no tea. The hell with you. I'm out of here. Deuces. So as she's leaving Mr. Waterford, the commander comes down the stairs and he's like, oh, okay, hi, Aunt Lydia. How's the baby? And Aunt Lydia is like, the baby is fine. Basically, everything cool. And then he asks about June, Offred. And so, Aunt Lydia is looking like that's who you really wanted to ask about anyway. Y'all got some secrets and some stuff that's going on up in this house because y'all kind of treat me a little funny and y'all basically want me up out this mofo. And so he says, let me help you with your bag. So he helps her with the bag and everything, or basically somebody else does. And he rolls on up out the camp and everything. And so, he's looking at her, with the side eye too, because he ain't feeling her either. They basically want Aunt Lydia out the house. It was a bad move, as we saw later on in the show. But anyway, so they want Aunt Lydia out the house. Aunt Lydia want to be about that mofo too. She don't care nothing about them. She just basically, trying to make sure that she does her job and make sure that a healthy baby comes into the house. And so, basically the night before we had saw what's the child's name? We saw Offred, going and taking her bath and everything. And then, she's has these letters from all these different wives who I guess have tried to escape, these wives who are in the underground. I mean, these, not wives, handmaids. And so she goes downstairs and she burns them because, basically she had lost her damn mind. And so she burns the letters up and everything. And Nick catches her and was like, what the hell are you doing? We're not supposed to have these in the house. So Nick was like, since when have you cared about following the rules? So Nick automatically knows that something is wrong with his boo thing, because after all, she is carrying Nick's baby and not Mr. Waterford's. And so, she's like, I need to go back upstairs. I'm not supposed to be walking around at night. Like, straight up, Offred has lost her damn mind. So anyway, I'm like, okay, she's going to do what they ask her to do. She's weighed 132 pounds. Everything is, what it is. So next thing we see is the women at the Unwomen camp. This is the camp where they have all the toxic waste, and these women have, they're basically dying. And so they wake up in the morning and there are two unwomen who are already dead. And they come with a big ass wheelbarrow, and they take the dead women out of there, and the other women go on with their life, and or the life that they know it. And so, Janine, of course, her with her one eye, so she's in there, and she's always been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. As we know, when she was acting up and all of that kind of stuff, and one trying to have a baby and just acting a plump fool, they plucked her damn eye out. So, she still got that eye. The women tried to stone, Aunt Lydia tried to get all the women to, to basically stone her ass to death, and they was like, hell no. So the one off Glenn, she ended up losing her tongue because she stood in place of, protected Janine, and so she don't have her tongue anymore, and it's just a hot ass mess. Okay, so basically they're there, and she's like, I know that God is looking out for me, and so Emily is like, how the hell God is looking out for you? We come out here and we work and we die. We come out here, we work and we die. Because basically, you're sitting in there and you're basically, cleaning up toxic waste with dirty water and all of that kind of stuff. So the women, the woman who is over the women at the Unwomen, the women who wear the gas masks, they're called Aunt Pauline's. And so Aunt Lydia is the one who's in charge of the girls in red, and the women who are the handmaids who have the babies by the commanders. And the woman who takes care of the unwomen, they're called Aunt Pauline. And so basically, Aunt Pauline is like, come on, bitches, let's go. So, they're going down to the toxic weight. We see Kitt, who is an African American woman who has been at the mines for a long time, and we see her girlfriend Fiona. Now, as you know, most of the women who are lesbians, if you were a lesbian, if you were a Catholic, or anything like that, you go to the toxic waste dumps and you just dig toxic waste until you die. And so these two women are, still in a relationship with one another. And basically, Kitt, the black woman's skin is bubbled up, and, she's got cysts and all kinds of stuff coming out of her. She can barely breathe. Her ass is dying. And Fiona is right behind her, but that's her boo thing. That's her girlfriend, her lover, her homie, her friend, and it's just sad as hell. So, all the other women in there, they know that, basically Fiona and Kitt are, in a relationship, but they still got to go out there and, basically shovel up all of that stuff. Their responsibility is to shovel up 10 bags of it. Now, what they doing with this toxic waste, why they making these women do this, I don't know, but they're making these women do this. So anyway, we see them go out there and everything, and Kitt is just, Kitt out, she ready to kill over, but she falls to the ground, and Fiona tries to pick her up from the ground, and Aunt Pauline and all the guards go over there, and they like, get up, get up. And so Emily comes over to, Kitt, and she's like, Kitt, do you need me to give you some pain medicine? Do you want something for the pain? And Kitt was like, no, give it to somebody that needs it. We're basically, what she's saying is, I know I'm about to die. Give it to somebody who, maybe got 2 more weeks before they die so that they can, use the medicine. She's basically given up on life. She knows the signs. She's watched all the other women die. And she's like, okay, it's a wrap up in this mofo. I'm about to kill over. Give that medicine, Emily, to somebody who can use it. It's just sad as hell. So then Offred, so the next thing we see is Offred. Offred is up. She's gotten out of the bed and everything. She goes into the bathroom, and, she sits down on the toilet. Of course, all of the undergarments underneath them look like something from the 1800s. She pulls her panties down and she's on the toilet, and there's blood in her panties. Now, as we know, she is pregnant by Nick, but the commander and his wife are pretending as if this baby is their baby. They know good and goddamn well that that baby is not theirs. But anyway, I digress. Up in this mother, okay? So they basically sitting down. She's sitting on the toilet and she is bleeding. She is miscarrying. She's in the process of miscarrying. And she's like, she's still in this zombie-like state. She gets the tissue, tears some tissue off. She dabs the tissue, and she's got serious, like, red blood. And the other, the Martha, okay, because the women who were older women and stuff like that, they are the Marthas. They are the ones who cook the food, buy the food. They do all of that kind of stuff. They take care of the house. They clean up. They do that because there are women who are unbearing, and they use these particular unbearing women because they weren't gay or were not in the Catholic religion or any of the other things that they were against. These women get to live out the rest of their life serving the commander and his wife. So Martha comes in, she sees June on the toilet, and she's like, Miss Serena wants you. And so, June dabs herself. She sees that she, basically has it on. She gets up and she looks into the toilet, and it must have been a massive amount of blood in the toilet because the look that was on Offred's face was like a look of pure terror. And so she, gets herself together. She goes downstairs and everything. And I'm like, good googity, god daggone googity. I don't know how So she goes downstairs and she has to, talk to Miss Waterford. And again, she's completely out of her mind. And she's just saying, yes, no, Miss Waterford. So, they got to go on a walk. They go on a walk and we see the other young lady. I think Miss Warren is her name. Her handmaid had a baby. She complained about the baby. Her husband, she complains about the baby. She don't really want the damn baby. But that's her duty as being a wife to, one of the commanders. And so her handmaiden was pregnant last season. And the handmaiden basically got attached to the baby. As any mother would, you carry a baby for 9 months. And then not only do you carry the baby for 9 months, you have to breastfeed the baby, you have to nurture the baby and all of that until the baby is able to be weaned off of you. You can have no connection to the baby other than basically breastfeeding the baby and doing that kind of stuff. Once the baby gets to milk, to a stage where it is no longer in need of your breast milk, then what they do is they take their handmaiden and they send her to another house so that she can give another family a baby. Y'all, let me tell y'all, if y'all are not watching this, god damn it, y'all need to be watching it. So anyway, so anyway, she she walks out with her and they see this, Miss Warren lady, and they, talk to her, and the baby starts crying. And the little baby's name is Sue. And so Miss Serena, who wants a baby, is like, well, don't cry, baby. And she was like, God is testing me. Miss Warren was like, but God is testing me. Like, this damn baby is just going to be the death of me. And so it's like, oh, okay, okay, calm down, boo. And so, Miss Waterford walks away. Serena walks away with Offred, and she's like, she sure does complain a lot about that baby, doesn't she? And so Offred was like, yes, yes, Miss Waterford, and she was like, the purpose of us going out on these walks, Offred, is so that the baby can hear my voice. You need to stop it with these one word answers. What's wrong with you? And so, Offred was like, yes, Miss Waterford. And she was like, is anything wrong with you? No, Miss Waterford. So, basically she's mad because, where they walk, and they're out with the commander's wife, they have two armed guards. And I'm not talking about armed guards that have hand pistols. They have like serious machine guns when they're walking out there. This is how this whole community is because everybody got to stay in line. Understand what I'm saying? Like, this is just not like, some little mall cop. These are militia. Okay? All right. So they so they walking around and everything, and basically she's mad, but she notices that there's something wrong with Offred, but she doesn't want to know. So we go back into the house, and basically the in episode 4, when Nick came into the room, Offred looked at him because, of course, she didn't banged him out, and I mean when I say banged him out, I'm talking about banged him out. Okay, and so and so basically, she's banged this man out, and so Serena saw it. So she goes in and she talks to Serena goes in and she talks to her husband, And no, I'm skipping ahead. So basically, she has to do something about Nick ass. So she comes back in the house, and Nick is like, "Excuse me, let me talk to you real quick," because Nick is an I. He's an I. The I are men who live in the house, and there's chauffeurs and handymen and stuff like that, and they watch the handmaids to see if there's anybody who's rebelling and all of that kind of stuff. They're called the eyes. And so Nick goes to Serena. And he's like, "Look, something's wrong with Offred." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "I mean, I think she needs to go and see a doctor. She hasn't been herself." And so Serena was like, "Bitch, why you worrying about it? She's the handmaid." As soon as I started doing this review, because I put a decline on it, she would call me right back. Okay. And so we're gonna have to do this one more time. And so she's like, why are you worried about her? He was like, I just noticed it. I think she needs to go and see a head doctor. And he was like, she doesn't have anybody, Miss Serena. And she was like, it seems like she got somebody to me. So she goes in, and her husband is sitting there. He's doing this paperwork and everything. Of course, we know that the husband has fallen in love with Offred because he was screwing her and doing all kinds of other little stuff to her. And so, basically, she goes in there and she talks to her husband, and he ignores the hell out of her. And so when she said something about, she said, Nick has been really concerned about Offred. So he gave like the little side eye, which is eternal. And so he's like, oh, okay. He plays it off. She tells him, I think, we need to reward Nick. Now, last week when I came out, or a couple of days ago when I came out and I talked about this, we were talking about whether or not they knew about this baby. I think it's pretty obvious from the conversation and the things that took place in this that they are fully aware that that is not the commander's baby. They are fully aware of the relationship between Nick and Offred, and they didn't care because they got a baby out the deal. It was obvious because the commander had had several handmaidens, and not a nary one got pregnant by him. And so all of a sudden, Offred is pregnant, and Offred is not pregnant by the commander. And that's why Serena came into that room, excuse me, y'all, and said to him, God's not going to give you a baby because you're not worthy of one. What a biatch. So anyway, he looks at her and he's like, okay. So they decide that they're going to promote Nick. They're going to promote Nick, and they don't say anything about what the promotion is about. So the next thing we see is Nick sitting up there at some ceremony. They're reading off the scriptures in the Bible, when a man joins himself to a wife and all of that kind of stuff, and they march these women in with these white capes, white hoods over their house. Yes, they are very wicked, Cynthia M. And walk them up in there and everything, and all the men are standing there. And it's a ceremony. It's a wedding ceremony. Because they was like, let me tell you something. Nick won't be sticking that dick up in Offred anymore. We got the baby we want now. We need to keep her in check and keep him in check. And our way of saying thank you is to give him a bride. And they knew that that was going to get to Offred. So we see Offred, she's sitting at the table. They're saying that they got to go to the ceremony. Offred gets up and she wobbles. She's about to faint because she is basically about to miscarry the baby. She goes into the bathroom. She puts some tissue in her panties because she wants to, not have the blood in her panties, because the Martha would, she does all the laundry and stuff. So the Martha would tell Serena basically she's having a baby. So when they go to the ceremony and Nick comes out and they have these wives, Serena turns around to Offred and said, doesn't he look handsome? And so, Offred was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to do the right thing. I'm in survival mode. And they bring this woman out, this little young girl. They have these young girls that they have been grooming to marry these new men. And this is a promotion for you to be married and to have, children, to have, fruit multiplied, god damn it. And so basically, they're making sure that Offred don't have nothing else to do with her. I think that that was so damn cruel for them to do something. It's just so sad. So we see the women back at the at the camp, and Emily is there with Janine, because she's trying to bring Janine on board. And Janine is she said, Janine, earlier your crazy ass said that you believe that God is for you and he's looking for you. I think he's doing a terrible job anytime he would have us in here, in this toxic waste dump, being prisoners, be our whole lives being trust me, this series is the bomb. Yes. So, she's been like, basically, how the hell can you say that God loves us and that he loves you? She said, he saved my life 2 times, boo. 2 times. He saved my life. And so it's a purpose for something. She right about that. She lost her damn eyes. She cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And she got her baby snatched from her ass. And she basically was suicidal and ran over people. They did all kinds of shit, okay? So so it's like, okay, you do what you do. So basically, she's like, he saved my life. And Kitt is dying. Kitt is trying to dig. She can't dig. She wheezing like wheezing ain't never wheezed before. She falls out on the ground and everything. And Fiona runs over there to pick her up. Kitt is damn near dead. And the women have to be the ones to drag her off the ground. These men that are on these horses and with these guns and stuff, they don't even help to carry the dead off. The women who are already sick and dying have to care for each other. They have to bury the dead. They have to care for the almost dead. This is the saddest crap you will ever see in your whole entire life. And can you imagine that this place used to be the United States of America? Like, okay. So anyway, Nick is promoted and all of that stuff. We see, Nick basically come back, to the house. They have a little ceremony, and the commander and Serena and the handmaid and everybody in the Martha, they're standing there, and they brought this wife into the house. And then, they're saying, we wanted to reward you. We thought that you did a great job, Nick. And this is your reward, your wife. And the wife is young. She's probably about 16. And it's like, okay, all right, okay. Look, Offred, we've rubbed this in your face enough, boo. Get up out of here. So, Offred leaves and she goes upstairs, and the Martha is behind her, and she stumbles on the stairs, and she's like, look, Offred, are you okay? And so Offred is like, yeah, I'm all right. But you know what the thing about it is? See, Offred has basically lost her mind. She's trying to play by the game, but she now is waking back up and becoming June again. And so instead of her reporting, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. So we're going to go back to the unknowns. So we at the unknowns again. Okay, these are the unwomen. Right. Okay. So we at the unwomen again. And so basically, Kitt ass is just about like Kitt is 2.5 minutes away from being dead, and Janine makes tells the women let them get married. So one of the women, the dying women and the unknown women, she does a ceremony. Kitt is laying up there with some yellow flowers on her. I don't know where the hell they got the flowers from, but she's laying there with these flowers, dead ass flowers on her. And Fiona's beside the bed, and they do a wedding ceremony. And they marry them before, Kitt basically dies. And Janine is like, that was my idea. So Emily snatches her ass up out of there and takes her down into a dungeon, more of a dungeon than what they already living in. And she takes her down there, and she like, look, bitch, I'm trying to keep you alive. Why would you do something like this? And she was like, because, if we're going to, we work and we die. And so if we're going to be down here, we need to make the best of it. So Emily is like, nah, bitch, this is not going to happen. Emily basically, when they came back in, Emily was washing her face and trying to get the death off of her face. And so she took her hand and she started like brushing her teeth. And then she was like, oh my God. And she goes into her mouth and her teeth are coming out. Like I'm talking about just like straight coming out because everything in her is just dead and rotten and just going to hell in the handbasket. Okay. So Emily like freaks out. And I would have too. I mean, hell, you in there brushing your teeth. Like this ain't no damn survivor. You're in there, like you dying. Like every day is a death sentence because you are basically digging up toxic waste. Like, yes, absolutely, Cynthia M. It is a death camp. So she's, and then she's trying to get, it's like, oh God. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't like they used to be. No. So she's sick of Janine ass. She's like, look, Janine, I'm telling you, I can't have pink eyes. So she's like, I can't handle this. I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep your ass alive. And she was like, we ain't nothing but cows out here. We come out here and we work and we die. And Janine was like, cows can't get married. Janine is already like 15 French fries short of a medium French fry at McDonald's. Like she's one French fry away from a Happy Meal. Like she's one. Janine crazy as hell. She's not going to ever not be crazy. But they want her to make sense. You understand what I'm saying? They want her to, try to make some damn sense of her life. But she's not because she's crazy. And then the thing about it is she's optimistically crazy. In the midst of all of this, her ass optimistically crazy. Thanks for the french fries. So anyway, she's basically, they go off. So the next thing we see is okay, wait a minute, y'all, because I took some notes. Okay. So the next thing we see, now mind you, Aunt Lydia is gone from the house. Offred is slowly but surely having a miscarriage. But in order to have her own, like she's rebellious, and in order to try to get her own power back, she ain't gonna tell these bitches she miscarrying. So she goes up the stairs after the little ceremony. Serena is in it, in the quarters, in the eyes corners, Nick's quarters, and she's telling the woman, basically, did your mother tell you what you needed to do? Because basically, your job is to have babies. Your job is to be fruitful and multiply. Your job is to ride that pony, get up on that. You see what I'm saying? And, okay, not the tip, but the whole dip. And you are to have babies by him. And you know what? You could try to make it pleasurable to yourself. It just might be pleasurable. But at the end of the day, you got a job to do. Whether you like that thing or you don't. And so, the little girl's like, your house is pretty, you're this and that. And she's like, look, did your mama tell me that? Because basically, you blowing smoke up my butt crack. A promotion to have a wife, but your job is to have babies. And your job is to make sure that he never touches Offred again. Now, she didn't say that I said that, I added that in. But basically, she don't want Offred touched again because, Offred doesn't deserve happiness. She's a handmaid. And so basically, Offred's going up the stairs and she stumbles again. And so the Martha is like, look, are you okay? And so she was like, yep, I am. She goes upstairs. Now remember, she put some tissue in her panties to try to collect the blood. She gets upstairs. She barely has enough energy to take her boots off and put them in the closet. She's holding on to the rack in the closet. And she's, she's like weak as hell. And because she's losing blood. And so, Offred decides, you know what? Let me go ahead on and find out what's going on. She takes her dress off, and her panties are saturated with blood. Yes, and the bathwater was red. That's the part I forgot. When she first started bleeding, she was told by Aunt Lydia that she needed to take a bath twice a day. She was laying in blood. Because she going to be obedient. She ain't going to tell these bitches she's having a miscarriage. Because, see, this is giving her a little bit of power. She's able to take something away from them that they want, something that they desire. She can take that away from them. That's what her plan is, to just go head on to miscarry. When she sees that her panties are saturated, and I mean, y'all, when I say saturated with blood, I mean saturated with blood, all in the front, down her legs. She takes her hand and she wipes up in there, and she just got blood on her hand. And she realizes, okay, like I'm seriously losing this baby. And so, she goes out the room to go and tell them, hey, look, I'm losing this baby. Because I think she thinks that she's at the point where, the baby is just about gone. And she stops. That ass stops. And not only does she stop, she backs up. She goes and sits in the windowsill. And she makes up in her mind, I ain't telling them nothing. They took the only thing that I loved, the only thing that I had a connection to, which was Nick. And they took Nick away from me. And I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to repay them by losing this baby. So we go back to the Unwomen camp, and Kitt is dead. And Fiona is crying. She's heartbroken. They take Kitt and the other woman who just died too. They put them on the wheelbarrow. They have a funeral service for them real quick with just 3 people, because that's all the people they need to bury them bodies. Again, the women, the dead women, the unwomen are responsible. Okay? So we see the commander, we're back at the house, and we see the commander talking to Nick and saying, Nick, I appreciate you and all you did. Basically, I am in love with Offred. As sick as that may be, Nick, I am. And so what I'm going to do, what I did was I got you married and everything. I basically saved your life. I know what you did. I know you touched her, and I know you impregnated her. And while I'm pissed off about that, the greater good for me was to get a baby by any means necessary. And so then after he does that, Nick goes outside to smoke a cigarette. He's out there smoking a cigarette and he's like, something ain't right. He goes over to the gate and he looks out and he sees a body on the ground. He goes out over there and guess who it is? Yeah, it's Offred. Laying down on the ground and fell out the damn window. And basically blood everywhere. Like everywhere. In so many ways, I do believe that she was absolutely trying to kill herself. She wanted out so bad. See, she had thought that she had escaped. She was so close to getting out of the United States and getting to Canada. She gets caught. She was gone for 92 days. She got choked the hell out by Serena when she came back. And it's like, oh my God. Like, I can't take this another further. She's lost Nick. She's lost her child, but she knows her child is there. And she's bleeding, miscarrying. And she falls out the window, and her ass is laying on the ground, wet and bloody. Nick is screaming and yelling. It's pouring down, raining. And then the next thing we see is Offred. Offred is at the hospital. We see her open up her eyes. We see the IVs in her. And we see Serena laying there in a chair, asleep. Offred opens up her eyes, and Serena sees it, and she said, "Oh my God, thank God, thank God." And we see that we hear the heartbeats of a baby. Offred pulls up the sheets and realizes that she didn't lose the baby, that the baby is alive and well and still kicking. And she is in a hospital room where everything in that bliggity fliggity is white and sterile. And the plan that she had to either die and make sure that the baby died backfired on that ass. She is still imprisoned by the baby that is in her womb. Can you imagine being pregnant and the baby that's in your womb is not going to be yours, is going to be raised up in a society where women are treated as nothing, where men dominate, where there are classes of people who are separated by colors, where armed guards with machine guns walk the earth. And so Serena runs out. We look through the glass, and there's a guard that's walking back and forth to make sure that she does not kill that fetus, that she doesn't do anything. Everything about her is under scrutiny and observation. She realizes that the guard is over there. She puts the cover over top of her head, and this is what she says to the baby. She said, "You're a little tough. You're tough, aren't you?" She says, "I will not let you grow up in this place. They do not own you, and they do not own what you will become. I promise you, I'm going to get you out of here. I'm not going to let you grow up here." I was like, "Get out of here." And now we see June. She's back. And yes, RO. She said each episode gets more, what she say, more tragic and intense. Oh my God. You know, when this woman sat down to compose this book, I'm sure she didn't ever think that it would be so embraced by people, and that it would be turned into a series on Hulu. And even though it's tragic and it's dark, and it is, it appears to be a hopeless situation, there's something so beautiful about the tenacity of human beings to fight against the odds. I don't know what's going to become of June. I'm hoping that June and the baby do flee to Canada. But I tell you, this is one of the best shows that I have watched in a very long time. And I don't know what tonight's episode gonna bring. I think it comes on tonight. I watched season 2, episode 5. But if it comes on tonight, I will be absolutely reviewing it again tomorrow. I will be catching y'all back up. I'll have to do that on Saturday. I won't be coming live, but I will be talking about it. But let me tell you something. This cotton freaking thing right here. Hey, Gracie Mac, this thing right here. And I saw Ashley earlier and Miss Michelle and Queen Stars My World and so many of y'all. Hey, y'all. Um, it is just, it's just, it's unbelievable. The artistry, the mindset that went into this. And again, as I said, the young woman, Miss Atwood, who wrote the book, believes that we are right now in the political climate where our liberties as we know them can be easily taken away. She believes that we are in the climate right now that something like this can happen, that a coup can happen and they can take over and we could lose every right that we think that we have right now as women and as human beings. I don't know if I agree with that because I can't allow my mind to allow me to lose not one other or one like another liberty. And we have women who are on the battlegrounds and on the battlefield fighting for equality. We've seen so many things happen in the news about women equality and women not being treated fairly. And it takes me to, basically the Rachel Dolezal special. I don't know how many of you all have taken an opportunity to look at the Rachel Dolezal documentary, but I would really like to come out here and talk about that as well. So if you get an opportunity, please go out and look at the Rachel Dolezal um, um, documentary. I believe it's on Netflix. Um, this woman, as we know, has made a decision that she would live her life like as an African American woman because her brother was up for rape charges because he had been allegedly raping his sisters, and she pressed charges against him. The family exposed Rachel Dolezal. All these years, they had allowed this woman. Um, yes, Nasaji, we're gonna talk about it. All these years, they had allowed this woman to live as an African American. They had allowed her to be the president of the NAACP in in Washington. And they never said anything until this African American girl who grew up as Rachel Dolezal's sister alleged that her stepbrother was raping her. And um, in order to diminish her credibility, they exposed her. The young sister who Rachel Dolezal was going to testify for and to tell the judge that the brother had indeed allegedly been raping her, um, he got off because they were able to prove that she was not honest. Let me tell you something. Handmaid's Tale is, whew, it's heavy. Let me tell you, it is heavy, but it is so worth looking at. I'm going to come back and like I said, I'm going to come out on Saturday and I am going to put some reviews out here so y'all can do a marathon of the reviews. But please marathon the show because it is one of those shows that make you think. It really, really makes you think. And just looking at Rachel Dolezal, this woman's whole life was destroyed by her parents, by people who were supposed to love and protect her. But they had these African Americans. in their home, children in their home that they had adopted, and allegedly they were abusing the hell out of these kids. And they made, they lost, they lost everything. And Rachel felt like she needed to be an African American woman and that she needed to live like this because she related closely to them. Was she right or was she wrong? Have we as African American women blackballed her and treated her as if she is nothing? Could that happen to any one of us? Could someone take something from our past and use it against us and diminish and tear down our character, our reputation? Absolutely. Can they take our rights away from us? Little by little by little by little until you have enough people stand up and rebel against the government as it is. Every day, we have to be mindful that at any time somebody can use an ink pen and take your rights away. It's not the power of the words that takes your rights away, it's the power of this one bill, one amendment to the Constitution, one executive order. Now, I'm not saying that Miss Atwood is right, but I think that when we don't fight for one, we don't fight for all. And so I really would like to have that discussions with you ladies. Because we sit back and we allow things to happen as Americans. Auntie, I want to see Aunt Lydia's backstory, who she was before Gilead, her character. I would like to see that too, and I think it's in the book. I'm not into book clubs. That's my daughter's thing. But I am going to be reading the book. My daughter has the book, and when she comes home from college, she's going to be allowing me to read it. And I do want to read Aunt Lydia's backstory. I also want to read the backstory on Aunt Pauline, who would wear a gas mask to make sure that she doesn't die, but has the heart to the heart and and can watch other women die. Like we gotta be good to women. Like we gotta be good to each other, and we not all the time. We're critical of one another. We're jealous. We're spiteful. We're backbiting. Some women will sleep with your man quicker than they'll sleep with a single man. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. And this story, this special, The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, opens you up to really thinking about everything. Because let me tell you something, June is fighting for her damn life. And every time you think that June is going to get out, that ass gets wrapped right back into it. My thumbnail, which I could not load up, shows June laying in a puddle of blood. See what I hate about Serena? No sisterhood. Absolutely. It's very interesting, Pink Eyes. And if you don't have Hulu, try to see if you have a child who is in college or a child who's in high school, you can get a student account for Hulu for $5.99. It has, I believe, 3 commercials in it during the um show. I think it's 3 90-minute commercial, 90-second commercials, which isn't bad at all. Television has more damn commercials than that. But just to watch the series, it would be worth it to just do a trial and kind of marathon through it. You have enough time, I think, to see the season all the way through. But I'm going to be coming out here and I'm going to be doing this. Hey, Auntie, I'm so glad you are doing a Handmaid's Tale. Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm just about done. But I'm telling you, you all, when we don't fight for women's rights and women equality, slowly but surely, we're going to go backwards. There's an old quote that says, "He who forgets the past will soon relive it." And I think that we believe that we're in a place and in a posture where things cannot go backwards, but they can. And that's what Margaret Atwood, thank you so much, Cynthia, for giving her name. Margaret Atwood believes. Again, I don't know if I prescribe to that. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I don't know if I agree with that, but it damn sure makes you think. Thank you all so much for coming out and listening to this review. Next week, when a lot of you all have had the opportunity to look at it, I will absolutely um, open up the phone lines because I absolutely would love to hear what you all think about this and what you have to say, what you have to contribute to the conversation. Please, I hardly ever ask you all to do this, but please share this video. Share this video with other women who are looking at this show and men who are looking at this show and don't know that a soul sister number 9 like myself is doing a review on it. I really want to, get us together where we're talking about this. Yes, we all are in anticipation for 90 Day Fiance coming up this Sunday, as we should be. But I'm telling you, I would love for you all to share this video and let everybody know who's connected to your YouTube channel that we are absolutely talking about The Handmaid's Tale. Thank you all so much for being here. And thank you so much for being my loyal, wonderful, patient subscribers. Yes, Auntie got a lot on her plate, and I haven't been out here like I want to and like I've promised to do. But I thank you all for being so good, so kind, so long suffering towards me. Thank you all so much. I promise once I get over this hump, move into this house, get my daughter out of school, finish my real estate stuff, I promise you I will be much more consistent with being on here. Thank you. And just pray for me as I pray for you. Um, yep, she got played by her man. How about that? So I love you all. Thank you so much, Nancy. 031394. Good night, Nessa G. Good night, Miss Michelle. Um, Cynthia M. Tarsha Smith. Love you too. There was somebody else I wanted to shout out. Miss R. Rosa. Who else is there? Queen Stars My World. I think I did say Miss Michelle, but let me say it again. Miss Michelle, my sweet old Nessa G. I saw Much Love Beauty and Fragrances out there too. Pink Eyes was out there. Debbie Visa, Hi Sweetie Pie. Who else was out there? Sandy G, Gracie Mack. Thank you so much for dropping in. Keisha Nicole. Who else is out there? Did I say Natural Beauty? If I didn't, Hi Natural Beauty. And Vera G. Thank you so much, you all, for being here tonight. Nancy said, under his eye, blessed, let the door open, or blessed be the opening, or blessed be the. Bye, y'all.